to Geek Culture Congress live from Tampa Bay Comic-Con 2021, the official panel. Can I get a round of applause? I'm so excited. I have a crowd here. Wow, I didn't really think, I thought we were going to have like maybe 1 or 2 people here. And I'm super excited. My name is Speedy Jr. Gonzalez, accompanied by my good friend, comedian, actor extraordinaire, Tarik Lewis. Give it up for Tarik Lewis, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you guys. You can tell he forgot my name for a quick second. So
I almost did because I'm excited. I wasn't prepared. I was almost unprepared. Ladies and gentlemen, for Wild 94.1, Rich Ortiz.
Thank you very much.
And of course, our very, very special guest today, comic book artist, Javier Lugo, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about his projects and all that good stuff that he's working on, of course. And then I also have, for all my video game fanatics, everybody likes video games, want to learn a little about the business, our local company here in the Tampa Bay area, Devious Entertainment. I have Andrea and Ellie here. How you doing? Good. Yes. She's the chief operating officer, and also and Ellie is the marketing manager now, or the marketing. What was that you explained to me? You knew the title a little while ago.
I'm the talent coordinator.
Talent coordinator. There you go.
She also has like 10 other jobs.
Yeah. And she's also a streamer and podcaster as well. So we're gonna talk about a little bit about that and podcasting and all that good stuff. But first off, who watched Loki? Yeah. What do we think about Loki, ladies and gentlemen? We're super excited about everything that's happening in the MCU there, near the in the future, variants, all that good stuff, multiverse of madness, things that Tarik doesn't like.
yeah, no, all those things he just mentioned are awful. But I'm gonna be quiet because I want to be in a Marvel movie, so I'll be quiet. Just taping it. For audition purposes, I love everything you're doing there, Kevin Feige.
That's how you say his last name?
That's how you say his last name.
Okay, I gotta learn.
Yeah.
Feige, yes.
Mr. Javier Lugo, let's talk about you and everything that you're working on. You just had a successful Kickstarter, Green Tempest Comics. Right. Tell me more about Green Tempest Comics. What's the premise for the character and all that good stuff? And I invite everyone who's here to Google Green Tempest, and you'll find it right away, and you can learn about it yourself. I'll let it hear from one of the voices and one of the creative teams right here with us, right here.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yes. So Brett Schuerman and I created Green Tempest Comics, and he created this character called Green Tempest. It started off as a what if Flash had the powers of the Hulk? He could change sizes, get super speed and super strength at the same time. When it came time to design the costume, he used a reverse Flash. So it's mostly yellow with red accents. And he gave him pointy ears for some reason. And he colored him like flesh, and it looked so weird. And then somebody else told him, hey, why don't you just color him green? And it worked perfectly. But that also meant that it can't take place on Earth. So now he asked me to draw this thing, and now I gotta draw a whole world with people with long ears, which doesn't sound like very complicated stuff until you start thinking about hats, helmets, hairstyles, because they all gotta incorporate the super long ears. So when I have to draw firemen and I have to draw police officers, now I gotta design around their ears or over their ears, which is something stupid you don't think about when you're drawing and you're doing reference until you have to draw on a planet full of aliens. So push comes to shove, and he hired me, and eventually we settled on 50-50 ownership, and we decided to make sure that it was open to everybody. We made sure that it was kid-friendly, super action-packed. I'm inspired by anime and manga besides American comics, and it took a while. It took about 2 years to do between my other projects, but that's the sacrifice you gotta make to see your dreams come true. We got it colored by a fine colors called Brian Arfel Magnani out of the Philippines, and we got a letter by our local talent Carlos Mangual. It's almost a total Florida production, and we're really proud of that. We sent out some information to creative loyalty.
Yeah, round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, come on.
And we're really happy with that. I sent the files to the printer about, I would say about 3 weeks ago. So the book is on its way, and it'll debut at Megacon in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Excellent,
That's
excellent.
awesome.
So for everyone who maybe is an aspiring artist or writer or just somebody who wants to get into the business or create their own IP or their own comic book or whatever it is they want to create, maybe it's just a novel or or anything like that, what advice would you give them?
Don't wait. Do it today. There's no tomorrow, no guarantee. You can lose the greatest idea you ever had. If you have it right now, you go to sleep, you wake up the next day, it's gone. Write the stuff down, refer to it later, and just do it. It truly comes down to just put pen on paper, do whatever it takes to get it done. Once it exists, then you can market the heck out of it. You can get your friends to kick in and help you out and make that dream come true. But you gotta put your effort into it. You gotta give it 100%. I'm not gonna say 110 because that doesn't exist. But you have to also believe in it more than anybody else. You're gonna have 10 people say, you're not gonna do that, versus everyone that's gonna say you can. Believe the ones that say you can, believe in yourself more than anybody else believes in you. And you won't do it just once, you'll do it repeatedly. And you're gonna show everybody that you were right and they were wrong.
Nice.
Javier, you out here preaching.
Yeah!
But I want to ask you about another one of your projects because it keeps on catching my eye over here. It's called the Naked Cannibal Campers. Can you tell the people about this, please? Because I mean, this is the PG-13 version of it. If you guys can see, there's a rated NC-17, but I'm not going to hold it up because there's kids in here. But can you talk about it? Can you tell us about it?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Sure. Thank you for the promotion. Naked Cannibal Campers
I was
actually.
supposed to actually, I
bad.
was supposed to warn you guys that we could be some adult content here.
Well, it says rated R
Yeah,
on
it
the
says
thing.
rated R on the thing, but some people might have missed that. But
Alright,
so in
forget it.
case
I'll show
you're
everybody that.
easily
Okay, can I
offended,
show
you
everybody?
may hear something
Go
of
ahead.
adult nature here.
Oh, oh yeah.
Yeah. Very good, very good, very nice.
Yeah, I'm a little embarrassed, guys.
Do you
so-
see it, Layla? Layla, you see it?
So tell us more about it.
Okay.
Here you go.
Oh, this one? All right,
Yeah,
great.
sure.
Okay, so my friend David Summy created a brand new comic book called Return to Sender. And he asked me to do a cover for him. And we collaborated and it worked out great. Got it successfully kickstarted. And then he was approached by a director of a horror movie called Naked Cannibal Campers. And this gentleman has been trying for years to get his movie adapted into comics. He likes it, but he's hired a couple of crews that just simply took his money and disappeared. So he stopped believing in comics as a viable alternative to his story and a way to cheaply extend his story beyond the original movie. So he approached David, and David reached out to me because we had collaborated before, and he asked me, hey, do you feel comfortble doing a cover for a horror comic? I'm like, well, I mean, I draw superheroes punching each other out of the sky, so yeah, sure, no problem. So eventually he explained to me it's 3 witches. I'm like, okay. And then he said, well, I would like you to do a nice variant and a adult variant. So, you know, being a Christian and all that, I have to consider what am I going to do with this. So I tried to do it as tastefully as possible. Because again, I draw people ripping entrails out of each other, so I'm not against violence, right? But, you know, I had to do what I thought would be a tasteful manner, and I think I accomplished it. And hopefully nobody will think ill of me, and if you do, that's of course your prerogative. But, you know, I enjoyed it. I enjoy creating comic book content, and you know, it's out there, and I want people to enjoy the work. But of course, understand it's a horror comic, so we're dealing with supernatural stuff, and when you're reading it, it's not that big of a deal. But the director was very, very happy with the results. I mean, not that I contributed to the story, but he was very happy with the results on the covers. We had like 7 different variants and all this other stuff, and that was another successful Kickstarter that, you know, it in a way got me here today. And yeah, that's it. Now the producer and the director are thinking about extending the story they originally had through the same creator. So we are actually increasing their DVD sales for a movie that's about 5 years old.
Wow.
That normally doesn't happen. Which movie is more popular now 5 years later? Not many, unless, you know, I really can't think of any. Highlander, that would be a good comparison.
There you go.
It sucked at the movies, but it was great in video. Wow, nobody knows what Highlander is, right?
Put your hand up if you know what Highlander is. Come on. Yeah, some people know what it is.
Okay, all right, there can be only one.
More than one in a room that know it.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So yeah, that's a good comparison, and you know, it's been my pleasure to work on every project that I've been privileged to be a contributing factor into.
So are you saying there's a live action of this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just asking for the people out there.
Yeah, just look it up. They recently came out with the DVD version of it. So yeah, it's available. Naked Cannibal Campers. So check it out.
All right. Before I move on to our guests here from Devious Entertainment, let's talk about Bobby Fulton and the Fantastics that you also brought with you. There's another book that you've been working on. Go ahead and give us the premise for that.
Okay, I was a big fan of wrestling. It was one of my favorite things to do, and I grew up in Puerto Rico, so there wasn't a lot of English programming except wrestling. So yeah, that was great, and this gentleman, John Crowther is a writer based out of Tampa. He's a lawyer, actually. I didn't know that until, he sued me. I wish that on anybody. But yes, he was looking for collaborators, and I applied. He's like, yeah, you're great. Will you draw for free? I'm like, no. He said, okay, well, I have this really cool story. Will you draw it? I'm like, okay, what about compensation? Because, I'm not going to sacrifice nights and weekends for no money. I'm a human being, and I got a family.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, we'll work it, no problem. Then I ended up drawing the darn thing for free. Okay, I ended up, because I like the story. It started off with a baseball story. The guy grew up in Ohio. He became a wrestler when he was 16. He learned the ropes, literally just cleaning up after his idols and meeting them and behind the scenes and kind of seeing the world be, in the locker room. These guys, they're all pals. They just act out in front of everybody. But, these guys are going to bars afterwards and they're hanging out and their wives get along and all this other stuff. I mean, what's the phrase? Kayfabe? Kayfabe. Yes, that's the term. In which that's the circus for the entertainment, for people to kind of see that and then consume that, and that's what they follow. And that's the storylines that we all follow on Monday Night Raw or WCW. That's what it is. And this story is about him as a young man. John Crowther interviewed him, got permission to do his life story. We were going to do 3 issues, but Bobby got sick. So we condensed the last 2 issues into 1 to see if we can get it out before he passed. At least that was my worry, so I put everything else on hold, finished it. He recovered from cancer, and he's cancer-free at this time, so that's fantastic. And, that's a play on words. So yeah, the Fantastics were the 2 guys that were coming in, and they had a ZZ Top dressed like a sharp dress man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they would come in with the scissors and stuff. I don't know what that was about. But, okay, ZZ Top scissors, maybe that's it. Wow, it took me 20, 30 years to figure that one out. Okay, so yeah, this one was a lot of fun. I love baseball, as you can tell, and I got to do baseball in the first 3 pages. After that, it's him as a young man driving an old beat-up car and meeting his wrestling legends. I got to draw legends of wrestling in this thing. And it's one of the very intensive, reference-heavy, because I got to draw people the way they look. So when I draw, I can't remember their names because they're way before my time, but I did enough of a good job with this project that they approached other wrestlers that showed up and said, this is the kind of production values you're going to have if you give us rights to your life story. And through my art, they've gotten about 3 or 4 individuals to say, yes, if this is the caliber, yeah, you can write my life story. So that's Bobby Fulton and Fantastic.
Excellent. Let's get a round of applause for Javier Lugo, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to focus on our other guest here on the video game side of things. We have the team from Devious Entertainment. So you guys just had a successful time at E3 2021. Just talk a little bit about that.
We sure did. So I am Andrea. I am COO of Devious Entertainment, as well as co-founder of Before the Storm, which is one of our subsidiaries who focuses on game development. I'm also one of the lead game developers for the projects that we're working on within all 3 of the companies that we have. So right now, one of our main games we're working on is a game called Last Shot. It's a sci-fi skill-based multiplayer. It's going to be akin to like the old style like Quake games, Unreal Tournament. It's going to actually, we've seen some gameplay, people have compared it to Halo Slayer. So we've had quite success with that. It's available to see it on Steam, but it's only added to the wish list. It hasn't released yet to the public, but just keep an eye on it, because it'll be available soon-ish. But
And you also have a very, very exciting horror survival game called Woken, which is chapter 1 of Reverie. Talk a little bit about that for everyone here on the panel who doesn't know what we're talking about.
sure. So Awoken is it's a horror game. It's a survival horror game. Right now there is a version available on Steam. It's in early access. That one, I will admit, it is a bit on the buggy side. We are still trying to work out the bugs with that. But the full game will release actually next year at E3 2022. We will be announcing the full release date for that one. But it is available in early access if you did want to check it out. There are screenshots, gameplay videos, trailers of it. But yeah, right now I will say it's had development challenges. It's had a very interesting cycle as far as development goes. But
COVID.
yeah, COVID quarantine kind of threw a bigger wrench into our development cycle plans. But the full game is going to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the full game is going to be a lot different. So the first early access version, you play through the game as Alan Mason, which is the older brother of 3 siblings, and you're trying to find your 2 siblings in this medical facility, and there's these creatures that are chasing you down, hunting you, trying to kill you. So you're trying to escape them, find key items to survive, because you want to live to find your siblings. So you're trying to get all this accomplished, living and finding. So you do have weapons still in the early access version. You have the weapons to protect yourself. I'm not going to spoil what these weapons are, because the early access will serve as a standalone game. So even when the bugs are wrinkled out and it's beautiful, it's PG, that one will still be available. And then when the full game releases at an announced date at a later time, that one you won't have as many weapons to protect you. That'll be more of you run and hide and survive, and the AI will have what's called machine learning. So it'll start to detect, oh, this player, they always keep running in the same room to hide, or they keep running into the same arm wall and hiding in there. But the AI will start to pick up on that. So you have to outsmart the AI, outsmart the creatures that are hunting you, because in the full game, you won't have any weapons. You won't be able to shoot back, spoiler, and you won't be able to fight back like you could in the early access version. But the early access, Woken itself is part of a 3-part series. There is early access, and then there is, which is chapter 1, and then we have Awoken, the full release, and then the sequel to Awoken will be called Doomsday, which is more of where you're at. I know you have some thoughts about Doomsday.
Yeah. So Ellie, give a round of applause to Andrea from Devious Entertainment, and I invite you guys to check out all the projects, all the video games that they're working at. The video game industry is interesting. You have artistry, you have voice acting, you have computer programming. There's just so many different facets. Ellie is also part of their online podcast streaming, Twitch. So talk a little bit about the eSpot, the channel that you have that you do your week. It was weekly, but I guess you guys are changing that. I don't know. You tell me more about it.
All right, yeah. Thank you. So actually, first of all, can I just say thank you?
You're welcome.
You so much for having us here. Thank you for joining us at E3.
Thank you.
We're so grateful to be here. We're so excited.
Yes.
So Andrea represents a lot of the behind the scenes, the hard, heavy hitting work of creating video games from the ground up. I can't even touch on that. I kind of represent more of the scene side of Devious Entertainment, which kind of gives me a little bit of a cheat code.
The entertainment side?
Yeah. So I am a voice actor and a musician. I've written music for Devious Entertainment and played a few characters. We're still working on a lot more. As mentioned before, I'm now the talent coordinator as well, which I'm super excited about stepping into this role. And then I also am a streamer. So I host a stream on Twitch called eSpot Live on behalf of Devious Entertainment. The basis of it is I kind of babble about entertainment news.
Yeah, that's what we do.
It's a lot of fun. It's off the cuff. It's completely unscripted, which has gotten me into trouble a couple of times.
That's fine.
But it's great. We have a lot of fun there, and it's currently going through a bit of a revamp. So I came out. Devious Entertainment is a local company, and I used to be local, but am no longer. I currently am in a different place. So I kind of came out to work on this and other opportunities in E3 with Devious Entertainment. And yeah, so it's been a little bit of a transition there, and all that to say, I'm away from my baby right now, my computer that I'm
not a real baby.
Together, and no, not real baby.
Okay.
Should probably specify that. Thank you. Good call. No, my computer that I game on.
Ah, okay, very cool.
So the streams kind of hit a couple of rough edges there, and we're working on ironing some things out and also revamping it. And I'm really, really excited about the plans we have for the future of eSpot Live. So definitely, if you're not already familiar with us, Devious Entertainment is across the board on all social media platforms. We're really working on building our Twitch and Discord communities in particular, so you can get more information from us on all of our shows there. Yeah, so that's eSpot Live.
Excellent, excellent. Get a round of applause for the ladies from Devious Entertainment. So let's talk a little bit about if people want to get into the video game industry. I know that's a loaded question, but if you're an aspiring, maybe you've got a good idea for a video game, or you know a little bit of computer programming, you took a couple classes, or you're fresh out of Full Sail, or whatever it is you are. I mean, how
about somebody that just plays games?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, maybe you just want to be a game tester. I mean, how can somebody get started? I mean, how does that entail? What does that entail? I mean, I know it's very multifaceted.
There are many routes. I mean, one option would be talk to one of us after the panel's over. That's one option.
There you go.
Honestly, if you do want to get into game development, maybe not so much the industry, but if you want to get your feet wet with building video games, learning programming, because you can still build video games even if you don't know all the programming languages. I do recommend going onto Unity Learn, hashtag not sponsored, but honestly they legit do have a lot of helpful resources. Even if the Unity engine isn't your thing, if you're not really too keen on that, if that's not your preferred one, but still they do have a lot of very helpful resources, and they can at least put you in the right direction and get you into the game development cycle. That's where I started learning, and then there's also a lot of tutorials on YouTube, a lot of helpful links on Discord. There's a lot of servers. I know Discord is typically used to communicate with friends, but I started using it as a learning resource tool. I'm in 50 servers, and most of them, all of them are game development tools. But yeah, this online is full of resources. And honestly, it's also about connections. Talk, get to know people, become friends with people, and then if they happen to be in that industry, great, that's super awesome. Don't make connections just to use them to get yourself forward in life. Make connections, make genuine friends, and if they happen to be in that industry, holy crap, that's awesome, that works out really well. Then you find someone who's a really good friend, possibly even a best friend, and then you can go from there and live a dream of game development or entertainment or anything in that industry.
All right, excellent. Let's get a round of applause. Andrea from Geek, Devious Entertainment, and Ellie also. Thank you so much, ladies, for hanging out with us here. And let's get into some Q&A, or if anybody wants to talk about anything or has any questions for our guests.
Walk around with the mic?
Yeah, we can walk around with the mic. Or
Anybody got a question?
Or we could just start talking about random about what's popping, MCU and DC or whatever.
Anybody got questions?
Yeah.
No questions.
And we could do it old school. Raise your hand and we'll come to you.
So.
Yeah. And if not, then let's talk shop.
Can we
Can we ask
talk about
questions?
some Marvel stuff?
Yeah, we can talk about some Marvel stuff.
Some movies?
Yeah. So what we're gonna start off with, Black Widow.
So
What?
let me just say something real quick about this Marvel stuff. I'm sorry, Kevin Feige. You're not gonna get a hold of this. I am Marvel fatigued.
Yeah.
I am Marvel
That's it?
fatigued. I want some Image comics. I want to see naked
Look at
cannibal.
look at the Marvel mascot and tell him that.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right, man. All those people on that shirt are dead now on the show.
Not yet. Not yet. Well,
There's the MCU and there's the Marvel Universe.
I'm okay with the Marvel Universe. I'm good with the Marvel Universe. I am MCU out. I do not want to talk about it.
we can talk about comic books, bro.
We can talk about comic books. There's DC's got Suicide Squad is getting rave
all right.
Rotten Tomatoes reviews.
Who's seen it already? I mean, anybody saw a preview of it yet?
I'm not
Yeah,
that
which one of
great.
y'all illegally downloaded?
Yeah, who illegally downloaded it, please? So let me go turn their camera on.
So many hands up, guys.
Who's seen what else is going on?
Are you guys excited? Who's excited about Suicide Squad?
I am.
Based off of
See, he's over there,
Yeah.
Even Marvel guys excited for DC.
James Gunn, right? James Gunn. Yeah. What
You're
about
only doing that because your girl's wearing a Flash shirt, aren't you?
what about you? Javier? What about you, Javier?
What?
What are you excited for right now?
Listen, I'm excited about everything, man. Listen, I grew up watching Captain America with fake rubber ears, made
Yeah,
where
it was pretty bad.
the
I
Red
did
Skull
see
was Mussolini, and Captain America had a transparent shield on his motorcycle. It was horrible. You guys got the best. People are spending millions of dollars, not in like 5 or 10. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars in producing entertainment that now everybody recognizes. And guess what? I'm not getting beat up in the halls anymore. I can say I like my
Being a
comics,
nerd is cool.
and I can say Civil War. People are like, oh yeah, the Captain America movie, and I really wasn't. I was talking about history, U.S. Civil War. It's a beautiful thing to finally share, to be able to share with other people the love and the awesomeness of entertainment that I've been the only one privy to.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's no longer mine, it's all of ours. Man, I love it.
Honestly, I feel that. For a while in high school, I had to be a closet nerd because it's like people like, you get beat up because it was something like, yeah, I play video games, but what are those? What video games? Who plays those? Meanwhile, I'm wrecking noobs in Call of Duty when I get to school. So.
Yeah. So what are you guys excited about right now? What do you think is excited about?
We got one question after you're done. I'm gonna go down.
Yeah, buy some time, man.
I got you.
What do you think is excited about all the new movies and TV shows coming out? What are you looking forward for the most?
Honestly,
Marvel, DC, Star Wars, whatever it is.
honestly, I don't really watch a lot of
Nothing?
TV.
That's fine. Be honest. Yeah.
I live in our game engines.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
There you
I
go.
live under a rock. Video games, so I did get the remake, the HD remake of Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword on the Switch, so I
All
love it.
right. There you go. Yeah.
So I am playing, I have 5 hours in that one, but besides that though, I mean, not
So
too many TV shows.
So what controls are you using? The buttons or the actual motion controls?
Right now, button controls, just because I'm left-handed and I'm kind of nervous about using the right-handed controls when I'm left-handed. And Link, originally canon was left-handed until motion controls became a thing. And then they switched them to right, so that's my assault for the day.
Yeah, that's some sweaty link knowledge right there. Ellie, what about you?
I'm excited about all of it. I've talked a little bit on eSpot Live about my very weird way about consuming media, and this is probably going to get a lot of people to hate me. I like researching things before I watch them. I like spoilers. I live for spoilers. And I thoroughly research. I know everything about Loki. I've not watched it yet. I know all of the plot twists. I know all of the characters. I've seen the major clips.
And you haven't watched that episode?
I haven't watched a full episode yet.
That's horrible.
Okay, so here's the thing though, because here's my salt for the day, right? When I found out that spoilers was a constructed thing for sales, like when you think of something like Shakespeare, none of those plays were secrets. The plots weren't secrets, the joy was in how it was done and in putting it together. And that's been common throughout all of human history and art. The concept of the spoiler came out very recently in human history and it's become this massive thing. And I get it, I wouldn't want to, like I'm not the type of person, let me also put this out there, I don't go there and just announce spoilers to other people who don't want it. I definitely respect other people's desire for consuming art a certain way. But I research the crap out of things and I live for it. So I'm excited for all of it because I've spoiled myself on all of it. And I'm excited now when I get time to sit down and watch it. I'm there for it.
That's excellent. That's excellent. We got a question in the audience. Go ahead.
Okay, so I kind of want to talk about
whatever you want.
that spoiler thing. I'm like a huge nerd for just cinema in general, you know what I mean? And when it comes to my specific fandoms, I want to go in as blind as possible.
Right.
You know, I don't want to have any expectations to cloud that. You don't have that issue? Like your expectations don't get like set up in a way?
No, okay, so I think part of it stems from, I discovered recently in life that I sometimes have a hard time processing emotions. And so sometimes when I'm watching media, especially if it's something I'm very strongly invested in and I'm blindsided, it actually will throw me for a loop. Like that impacts my life way more than it should. And I love media and I love art and I love that it does impact life. But there's something for me that gives me power to be able to spoil it for myself and know what's coming and prepare for it ahead of time so that I can enjoy it when it happens without being wrecked by it to the point where I'm missing everything else. So that's just kind of how my brain works, I think.
As far as like expectations, I'm a big cinema person also. Not that Marvel films aren't good cinema, of course they are. The good cinema, Kevin Feige.
You're not gonna watch Hawkeye.
I just don't want to ruin my career.
You're not gonna watch Spider-Man.
But what I've learned to do, because I've seen people invest millions and millions of dollars into awful stories and awful movies, and seen those movies get made, and it's like, you shouldn't have. How did
G.I. Joe?
How did you get? Not even listen on. Because as an actor, writer, I go to every film festival, and it's like, you spent $3 million on that film, on that, and I think we could do that at home.
Yeah.
So, any movie, I don't care what the budget is, I don't care what the advertising is, I assume it's gonna suck. And then if it's good, if it's decent, I'm happy. I'm one of the few people happy with the Mortal Kombat movie. Are you guys okay? I'm pleased with it.
I accept it.
I have something to add to that.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, please, by all means.
So, but with that whole idea of just going in with the assumption that it's gonna suck, right? I think another thing that added to my whole thing is that I was burned by too many TV shows that I was super invested in, that had great character development,
Give me an
great
example.
plot,
Firefly.
Castle, Firefly 2. But
Firefly 2.
Castle was an excellent show for that genre, if that's your niche, fine. I loved it, and then there was just kind of a lot that happened behind the scenes with different showrunners coming on and different writers and these types of things. And the characters were, I will die on this hill, the character regression was depressing. And I was so invested in these characters, and I never got even though they kind of tried to patch it up on the end, I felt like a lot of the people who had watched it from the beginning never really got the conclusion that they needed, because the characters weren't the same characters that they were when it started. So it's like for 6 years you had this amazing build-up, and then it just stopped. And that's, okay, so Firefly, Farscape.
Wow. Jericho was one for me. Jericho, but they continued in comic form, and they still stopped it. Anyway.
He's got to finish up his question.
Oh yeah, so
Well, as I'm holding this, I keep getting more material, and I don't want to.
go ahead, by all means. You guys are part of the show now, so if anybody here has a question and wants to talk about anything fandom, let's do
I
it.
think we did in the back behind.
So I loved Arrival, right?
Okay.
I thought that was a great movie, and so I'm really looking forward to Dune, because I read Dune in high school, and they got this amazing cast, and I have not watched a trailer. I've looked at some of like the recent art from it, but the '84 Lynch Dune, the Alan Smithy Dune, oh man, that sucks. It's fun to watch, but it's a terrible film. The miniseries on Sci-Fi was all right, but like I'm trying to go so blind so that I don't have anything messing it up. But my original question was, has the new TV shows in any way reinvigorated your MCU fatigue?
Yes.
Why? Extrapolate.
You know what? If it's something like sometimes you hate an athlete, and you don't really hate the athlete, you hate the fans, and that I think happens. We do the show. Speedy is a good friend of mine. He is the worst. He is the worst with the theories. Like, he won't leave me alone. There's a new theory every day, and I love you. If you're never right.
That's not true.
And now that's not true. That's not true.
Well, I was wrong about Swamp Thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
Man Thing, sorry.
I think that's what's fatiguing me with the movies, is that every show and every movie is about what's going to happen in the next movie.
Yeah.
And a lot of them aren't complete one-off. I loved WandaVision. I actually loved WandaVision. There wasn't a bunch of Easter eggs. It was clearly new characters, but it ended. And you know, there's definitely something they can do. Loki was a good show. It just ended and like, hey, what else is gonna happen? And I fatigue from that in Marvel films about what's the next thing. I just want the movie to be good. They haven't had a bad movie. Or, you know, they haven't had, well,
the worst movie, Thor 2 is watchable.
yeah, Thor 2 is get by. If you smoke or something, you can watch Thor 2. But going off what she was saying about show, I think one of the shows that the business side of the entertainment industry is crazy. There was a writer's strike years ago, and Heroes just got destroyed.
Yes.
Like, and then it came back, and it just wasn't the same Heroes. and I never felt satisfied with the ending of Heroes. And then they brought it back, and it was a whole different Heroes, and it's like, man. So that's my 2 cents. The gentleman back there has a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of actually going off of what you said. You made some good points, but on the whole, like Castle end, how much do you think a problem is that they're just trying to milk these for as much as they can? I think that's a problem. Like he said, some things they just need to come to an end, and like a lot of these production companies just seem to not know when to let things end, and they just keep going until you get let down. And then also a big problem being that everything is trying to become a cinematic universe, just following.
Unnecessarily so, yeah.
You can see Hasbro is starting to work on their aspirations to start their cinematic universe. And anybody see Snake Eyes yet? No. Does anybody plan to see Snake Eyes yet? Has it excited you enough, the trailer and everything, to go possibly see it either in a movie theater or whenever it's available in your life to see it? Are you gonna see it?
I'm gonna see it.
Yeah, you like it? Why?
Because I grew up with Snake Eyes.
Yeah. So you grew up with Snake Eyes. If they change any of the lore or the backstory of Snake Eyes, which I'm sure they have, will that upset you right now when you watch this new movie?
I don't mind. I don't mind. I want to be entertained.
Yeah.
I already read the books. Don't repeat that. That's my thing. I don't want to see something I've already read 10 years ago. Surprise me. Don't spend millions of dollars to repeat the story. That's ridiculous. I mean, it works for Shakespeare.
You're not watching Doom then. You're not going to see Doom.
No.
Out on Doom.
Your question earlier about fatigue. No, I'm not fatigued. I remember going to the comic shop every Wednesday. I still do. I'm used to getting new stories that are unconnected by weeks every month. Every 5th week, every 4th week, I get the next chapter. So what I see Marvel doing is that they're getting the rest of the human population used to, come back next week, guys, we got more. Here's a little bit more crack, I'll see you next week, right? And that's exactly what it is. And they even changed the day. They changed it from Fridays to Wednesdays, guys.
Yeah.
That is I hope somebody planned this and said,
They did it on
you go
purpose.
watch Loki, go buy the damn comic book and you'll learn how one.
Yeah.
And by the way, Zuko, thank you for representing.
That's very nice. I was going to say.
Thank you for Thank you so much. All right. And I'm done. No, I'm sorry. You're not.
So to go along with what you're saying, like you said, they give you the crack every once in a while, right? That's how I feel like the fans are crackheads. Like, I just
get a fix and that's it.
I just want to see a little coke. I'm not a crackhead. I just want to do cocaine at the party, and your crackheads are just ruining it for me. sorry, they're ruining it for me.
Don't do drugs, kids.
We're not allowed to use metaphors in here. What's going on?
It's rated R. We're rated R, so by all means.
No, but he's right. And to your question is why they keep making, why does everything have to be a universe? Because the MCU worked. I would say that the Fast and Furious universe preceded, if you want to call it a universe, it preceded, and maybe Transformers 2 preceded all that. Like, they keep making Transformers. They're not going to stop. If we make $100 million on every Transformers film, we're going to keep making them. We're sorry, it's going to be, listen, we're going to be dead and underground. It's going to be Fast and Furious 234. And I don't know what they're going to do at that point. Because if people keep going, and this is what happens, fans become crackheads and go see whatever, it doesn't matter. And that's what happens. And then every other film place you go now, if you pitch a script now to a studio, to someone, they're like, well, what else is going to happen? Is there more? People don't want one-off films anymore. You know, those things go to Netflix, but they don't go for theaters. They're like, well, we're going to be able to create a universe. And they make open-ended, which is fine. I think there's a place for that. But that's why you're seeing, why don't they stop? Because they have no reason to. Like, we keep making money off of it. Some of these things are good. Some aren't.
Capitalism, ladies and gentlemen. Capitalism. Another question in the back? Yeah, by all means. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Tyler Durden.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Slightly. How you doing? Gonna buy some soap? So a little unrelated, but it's just an actor question. So you said that you were actually a voice actress, and
I know Tarik and I, we know each other. We actually
yeah.
once. Cool guy. So I myself am also an actor, but I've predominantly done film and theater. I've never actually done voice acting where I wouldn't know necessarily how to dip my toes or get my foot in the door anywhere because I've never done anything like that. Is there any way you would recommend someone like me to start, or where I could get started doing that, or how, maybe? I know that's maybe a generic question to ask.
DVSI Entertainment.
All right.
No, I really do love and appreciate that question, and it's fascinating to be on this side of it. Oh my gosh. What's always stuck out to me is I feel like whenever I've seen something similar to this and heard that question asked, there's always that, acting school and demo reel and all of these things are really, really good things. But for my own personal experience, I kind of got into acting on accident. And then what I've really realized though is the most important thing for me as an actor, voice acting, I've done a little bit of film, things like that as well, is who you have around you. So I feel like, especially if you're in a place that is big in the film industry, it can be really cutthroat and people can really just go into it wanting to compete and get the role above everyone else. But when you find people, and you will find people whose goal is to serve the story and to do what's best for the story and to have fun and to lift other people up, it shifts everything. So every single one of my my connections, my roles, everything I've done has been through somebody being like, hey, you need help, I got you. Like, because that's how it started. I was just desperate, and I happened to be in an area that had film stuff going on, and I couldn't buy groceries, so they're like, hey-o.
You had a friend that you knew.
Yeah, and then it's kind of built up from there. So, I mean, as I feel like, I don't want to brush it off and say, oh, just go make friends. But honestly, kind of just be friendly with people and build other people up, and you'll find those connections and everything like that. But also, I mean, again, there are local companies as well, and that's something that I didn't know much about when I started. I feel like everybody walking into the entertainment industry, you think there's like the 3 big names that that's the only people who are doing this, and that's not always true. So yeah, local companies doing things. We are working on many video games. At E3 we showcased several. All of them are going to require voice talent. And so yeah, just get connected, get involved. We're happy to chat.
You're friends with Ellie. How does one plug into, is there a scene in Tampa for movies and the type of work that you're describing?
Within Tampa Bay, I don't know, I kind of grew up in a school for the arts, so that kind of changes it a little bit. But yeah, I think there's scenes for it in more places than you'd think, but quite a few films, like there have been, we were talking before about a lot of feature films that have been filmed locally. There's so many theaters. Like
really?
St. Pete, Tampa has operas, we have theaters, we have, yeah, so there's definitely places to get plugged in, but they're like little niche local places. So I know that's not like the most direct answer in the world, but yeah, make friends and be kind, and that literally more than anything else I've seen success in people's lives. And I'm more than happy to chat with you as well, like directly, 100%.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Dope. Who's next?
So,
Sir.
how you guys doing? My name's Scott. My question is, for the movies that have, within the last 20 to 30 years, that has been made into movies from books, what movie would you like to get remade today? Like, for my opinion, it'll be like the Percy Jackson books.
Oh,
Yeah.
Aragon.
Yeah.
I definitely think Percy Jackson needs a remake. I think, or at least a shot. A better take.
Did you still have a question here, kind of in the front?
Yeah.
Oh, I did it here.
So what else?
I think Aragon. They made that movie, that one movie.
Like Aragon, I think Aragon was pretty good, but like the way it ended, they need to remake it and then continue it.
Yeah, I think Aragon, the Golden Compass, they need to go back and redo those. Maybe, I don't know how long. I'm not excited about Golden Compass, but I liked the story of Aragon. I wouldn't mind seeing that done again.
I got one.
I feel like the Percy Jackson should actually go off the books, because like,
Yeah.
they made it, the books into the movies, it'll be more of an adult movie.
Yeah.
I didn't like the ending of Watchmen.
The
Give
show
me
or the
s-
movie?
No, the movie. Give me the squids come falling from the sky. Show me New York completely obliterated. Billy's dead.
So you like the show?
Honor Alan Moore. Oh, I love the show. The show was fantastic.
Game of Thrones. I just need the last season
Yes.
again. I need the last season. Actually, not even the last season, just the last 2 episodes. If they could remake those, because the books, they actually superseded the books. So I like the way that they did everything up until the last 2 episodes. So if we could redo that.
Yeah, talk about
To
characters that
your
don't
question, real quick, unpopular opinion, the books go off the deep end, so. Anyway.
They're a little crazy. They're a little wild.
This actually is a question that's been related to like almost everything that you've talked to about so far, is that as a teacher, I've come across students who play video games, they watch the movies, they read the comic books, all of that. And then all of a sudden I see where they love having spoilers, they are upset at having spoilers. One time at Endgame, I had to calm a little girl down because she was crying at the end of it. She was thinking that all of her heroes had died. Yeah, and so she almost had to have that movie spoiled for her so that she wasn't traumatized.
Wow.
Yeah. And then also another one is just, they see that, okay, here's where the comics are. That's not what they see on the screen. And so it's hard to get them to even take a chance at comic books or playing certain video games because they require reading. Yeah.
Okay.
So do you have any suggestions for how we can make that transition easier in
There-
all of these genres?
There's a local couple, and they have I've interviewed them before on the show. They have a local initiative in Hillsborough County Schools. I think they go to different counties as well. It's called Comics in the Classroom.
Yes.
You definitely need to connect with them. They work particularly on they find really good comic book stories to share with children and get them into reading, using comic books as a portal to reading. And I mean, that's how I started reading. My father and my mother would buy me Spider-Man comic books and Marvel, DC, whatever, and that what got me into reading. Then after that, I was reading novels. I was reading Sherlock Holmes. I was reading Moby Dick and all kinds of different books as a child, you know. So I really support their movement, and I need to connect you with them probably after the show or whatever, or at least show you the link and stuff like that. So maybe you can message them on Facebook and stuff like that. Because I think you guys definitely need to talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, because I've seen so many kids where they see all these awesome video game characters, or they come to these events and they want to get into it, but they can't.
Yeah.
Because they can't read fast enough sometimes, especially for video games.
It's
Yeah, that's a lot of tech, and then the comic books as well, yeah.
Most of these properties, like speaking of building universes, they usually are typically writing a book to go along with it, and the book has more. So for every film, there's usually a book that goes along with it and it has more.
Novelization, yeah.
And thank God for like Audible. You know, if the kids don't like to read, like a lot of those things are available on Audible. So there's some options out there.
Yeah. And I mean, some of them, it's not that they don't like to read, it's just that they read so slow that sometimes I know when they were playing a game, it goes off the screen so fast that they can't finish reading. Yeah.
So what you're inquiring about is the reverse. Seeing and enjoying it, how do you get them to the reading part? That's the difficult part.
Yeah.
And that's a conundrum for every Marvel and DC. They wish they could use their movies as commercials for their comics, but traditionally, you can have $500 million in ticket sales, but no uptick in any of the reading. That is a fantastic conundrum that if anybody can figure it out, you have at least 5 different publishing companies that will give you top dollar to make that happen.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't know how to do it. I mean, how many of us have read?
Become a millionaire.
How many of us have finished a TV series and wish there were more? Why don't they hook us up on the writing? Writing is cheaper than creating a TV series or a pilot or 6 more episodes. That makes sense, and that is very, very hard to do, to get people to translate from 1 million viewers into 10,000 readers.
Yeah. Anybody else got a question? Yeah. Oh, there you go. Right there. With the flash shirts. Hi. How you doing?
Hi, Iris.
Not too bad. So kind of going off of what you said, I think for me it's an anxiety thing. I like to Google endings of films, especially if I get very emotionally attached to characters in books and films and stuff. So when it gets to the point where, like, for example, like a relationship is happening, or like I think someone's gonna die, I will read the ending, and if it's not the way that I want to, I'll stop watching the movie, kind of thing. But also kind of going off of what he was saying about remakes of movies, kind of the trend right now is nostalgia and bringing back things from
The 80s, 90s.
yeah, that kind of thing. As like, if you look at design trends, it's going like, it's very 90s, Art Deco, kind of those kind of styles. So what do you think will be the next big kind of franchise that will be coming back and being recreated?
Simple. Robotech. No, I'm just kidding.
that you?
That's an inside joke. Everyone knows that I'm a big Robotech fan. But I mean, well, let's look at something that's recently got rebooted on Netflix. Did you watch
Did I watch
He-Man?
I did watch He-Man in the
And give us your feelings. I know it's a little toxic out there.
I don't know if it's controversy over He-Man.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
What did you enjoy about it? And of course, and respect anybody who did not enjoy it for whatever reason.
So I'm not even going to spoil it. I think people forgot that they were 4 when they were watching something. You were 4, and you're now 52. So you're not going to. He-Man knows what it is. It's a cartoon meant to sell toys.
Yeah.
So there's no way to make that too serious because you turn everyone off if you make it too serious. So it kind of made fun of itself. I enjoyed that. They took different spins on all these characters. Like, I know you guys are saying that you look up spoilers before. While the movie's going, I'm looking up everybody's name to see who's who, who's what, where they came from. And they took so many interesting spins on characters that were very, very minor. I enjoyed He-Man. I'm gonna go see Snake Eyes. People say like Snake Eyes was his background.
I'm not saying I'm not gonna see it. I'm gonna be disappointed when I watch it.
I never knew Snake Eyes' background. There's gonna be a Thundercats film at some point. I think the rise of the video game culture, you're going to see a lot of these video games made into movies and into franchises. I don't know which ones.
I thought you missed the movie Cats, where they had the bunghole at the end. That's Thundercats right there, man.
Is that Thundercats?
It's horrible. This is rated R, right? Okay.
I'm hoping for Stargate.
Stargate, yeah, that's something I need
I want
to
Stargate to come back. I would love Farscape to come back, but I don't think it will. I don't know. I would love, Farscape. Farscape needs to come back. Farscape and Stargate. Those are my wishes. If you can't tell, I'm a sci-fi nerd.
So we all are. Any other questions out there? I want to add.
Let me address something about nostalgia. I'm guessing I'm the oldest person on this panel.
No, can't be true.
Yeah, shut up.
I'm old man. Here we are.
Okay. It's about 30, 35 years in the past. Wherever you are today, if you look back 35 years, that's what they're trying to get you at. The nostalgia you're talking about, it's because the kids from the 80s are now 45 to 55 years old, and they're making the most amount of money in their life, and they all want their history back. They all want their comics and their toys, and they can't get them, and that's why a toy that was $3 when it came out in '82, people are paying $50, $70, $100 for a reproduction, not even the original thing. It'll happen to you. Trust me. When you are 40 and you're like, oh my gosh, I remember, what was it, Saved by the Bell?
Yeah.
See, he gets it. Guess what? New class.
Yeah.
Right? What's the movies with the High School Musical?
Yeah.
They couldn't wait for that to get old enough to be the musical, the series, and I don't know, the new kids or whatever it is.
They have a whole new reboot.
They can't even wait to get your money again. They get you when your parents are paying for it. They get you when you're an adult. I'm a victim. What can I say?
Oh, I'm a victim too, and I want to say that I enjoyed it.
If you really think about it, we've seen Star Wars came out before I was born. When I watched Star Wars, it was on videotape. Like, I was watching it after they were all
There you go. There's the background. You ready? We got to talk about Star Wars for her, because before we leave, we only got 5 minutes left.
Look how many generations have experienced Star Wars. Like, every generation literally has experienced Star Wars.
Or their own Star Wars, because there's generation experience the prequels. And then...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is Star Wars, like, what's going on in Star Wars now, my nephew has a different perspective on it than what I have. And he has a little brother that has a whole different perspective. The Lego movies, so these things are lasting forever now, and everyone has a different spin and take on it. And I think that's a good thing. When I age out of it, I age out of it.
Who's watching the Bad Batch right now? Or has been? Yeah. All right. Why do I love the Bad Batch, but why do I feel like I'm too old to watch it every time it comes out?
No, you're good.
I think it's because it's just designed for the kid in us. You know what I mean? So that's why I just enjoy it. Like my wife was watching it with me. She was like, "Why are you watching this? This is for kids." I can't believe you're watching this Star Wars thing. I'm like, no, honey, this is the brand new Star Wars thing.
Star Wars does a really good job with their cartoons where they actually translate to the adults, because I watched Drone Wars, and Drone Wars is actually, to me, better than a lot of series that I've watched.
Which one's that?
Clone Wars, my bad. I'm sorry.
Drone Wars, I need to find that.
Clone Wars, yeah, you know what I meant.
That's the new one.
Oh man, and I did enjoy Masters of the Universe too as well, and I was old enough to remember the Funimation original cartoon, and I always remember as a kid that the original cartoon was not good or not good enough as other cartoons that were out. So every time He-Man was on, I was like, oh, I guess I'll just watch this. You know what I mean? And that's I'll full respect anybody who's a big fan of that, and there's a lot. There's a lot of people who are Motu fans that really love the original series. There's a lot of good episodes in that I have watched once in a while, but there's a lot of man, I can't believe I watched it. I liked this when I was a kid.
Yeah. And there are some shows that I don't think can translate to live, like Dragon Ball Z.
That was horrible.
I don't think you should do that.
I remember that.
Yeah, like that,
Not talking about
Great cast.
If you go just here Comic-Con, there's a lot of My Hero Academia, there's a lot of...
If you watch Man of Steel,
That's my
those are kind of like Dragon Ball Z fight scenes. So I think that they can kind of, But going on that, I was gonna say Gundam. They were in a book, but old cartoon that I think that they will probably do live actions.
They are doing it.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, they even got them in Japan. They have a large Gundam, so I think that's the next thing. That's mine to answer your question. Gundam.
Anybody else got any questions quickly before we got to get out of here? Hang the mic.
Shout it. Probably internet rumor, but.
Go ahead.
Internet rumor, but I guess some people want to scrap the Star Wars sequels that just recently came out and do a whole new canon on that. And the rumor that I'm reading is that they want
Go ahead.
The guy from Mandalorian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. John Dave Filoni and John Favreau.
That Favreau wants to do it, and he doesn't seem like that kind of guy.
I'm okay. I'm okay with them moving on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Okay. She is the heir of the of the Jedi Order, and we move on, and we got some new stories. You know what I mean? And new, moving on. We had it. You like it or you don't like it, whatever, you take it for what it is, and it's time to move on and give some people some good Star Wars, content like they know how to do. So I'm okay if they move on.
If you have Disney Plus, or if you're illegally downloaded somewhere, there's for the Mandalorian show, they have very interesting behind the scenes with all the directors talking, and just seeing them. They have it for all the Marvel stuff too. All the directors are just chatting with each other. That is exciting because we know John Favreau, and I cannot say his name. Dave Filoni. Yeah, they're over it.
Are you messing up names? No.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
You come and say this.
But they're good, and what Kevin Feige's good at is picking the people to do the projects.
Yes.
I'm excited. I would be excited for John Favreau to take over it. Not necessarily redo that, but do future ones, and him picking people to do the projects. I would be there for that. I don't think they need to stop making Star Wars movies because I'm not quite satisfied. I want to see, what happened to the little kid with the broom? What was that all about?
Like I said, it's time to move on. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's a bunch of things that they can, elaborate on that, and it's definitely sizable to move on.
Give it 10 years, nostalgia will kick. You'll see them all come back.
Yeah,
they will all come back. Look at Star Trek.
Them Ray toys will be $50, $25. Yeah.
Yeah, and still people pay to see what? Captain Kirk? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, listen, put your toupee on, show up at a convention. He's a rock star, right? And that's not gonna stop. The mouse is mighty and will not stop regurgitating our content.
The mouse is under litigation right now.
That too.
Scarlett Johansson want her money.
As she should. She should. Hell yeah. Can I give a plug to a local
Go
movie?
ahead.
WDED.
What is that?
Yeah, from Maurice Jovan.
Oh, okay. Yes, this is a film Maurice Jovan. Yes.
Yes.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, I got excited because I know him too. I know some people in this film. WDED. Go ahead, tell about it. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I just wanted to say that's a local product. Not that I'm involved with it, but I kind of worked with Maurice on his Purgatory short story. And I kind of illustrated, so I'm kind of invested in seeing him succeed. So, yeah, I think they're going to have a showing soon.
Yes. Yeah, they've already done some.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah, so they've already done some. You can go to what is it called?
WDED.
WDED on Facebook and find them. And also there's another film now we're promoting things. Black Psy. There's a film called Black Psy. It's a comic book character. They made it into a film. That you can find it right now at Escape Theaters in Riverview. It's showing there for the next 2 weeks. It was filmed all here in Florida. They have like people who can really fight are in this film. So that's out. There are a lot of things in Florida that get made. You just have to keep your eye out for it. You're not going to see a bunch of commercials for it. They're going to be like people coming here with their new comic books. You know, I bought one today. I've never heard of this guy. I just like his artwork. So be on the lookout for all these types of things. People making their video games. You know, go out there and help us.
Yeah.
Tell them about our podcast, please.
Yeah, tell us about our podcast. We run out of time. Please follow us. It's three separate words on Facebook. Put them all together for Instagram, Geek Culture Congress. Thank you so much. I expected one person here at this panel, so applause for all you guys. Okay? And I'm really a little emotional right now, so I really appreciate you guys coming. And thank you so much, and I promise to do it again next year, so tell your friends, tell everyone we're gonna do this, and you can come here and talk shop and talk about what you're excited about, and we'll make a show out of it. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special Geek Culture Congress. I'm one of your hosts, as always, Louis Speedy Jr. Gonzalez, accompanied by Michaela, one of my co-hosts. How you doing, Michaela?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to talk with our special guest today.
Yes, our special guest today is the Vice President of Fan Expo HQ. I hope I said that right?
Yeah, that's us.
And of course, they are the company behind Megacon Orlando and many more other shows, Fan Expo HQ shows that are around the country and in Canada as well. Andrew Moyes, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. Thank you both for having me.
Yes. I'm so excited to talk to you today because, as you well know, Megacon Orlando is coming up close. It is the weekend starting of the 12th all the way through Sunday, which is the 15th. That's a 4-day event. Wow. When Fan Expo HQ took over Megacon in 2015, what was the expectations for taking it to the next level?
Well, look, Megacon is a legacy event on the pop culture convention circuit, and it was a real prize for us to be able to bring it into the family. We were really excited about the anime fandoms. Megacon's always been a really strong anime show, and because it also had that focus, there was the opportunity for us to lean into the other fandoms. We at Fan Expo HQ, and of course through Megacon, really pride ourselves on creating shows that touch on those multi-genres. So you've got your anime, horror, gaming, comics, sci-fi, of course cosplay, fantasy. I mean, we used to have 5 pillars, and now we've got almost, it's never ending, it seems. And that's what we love, Yeah. So there was a real opportunity for us to start injecting some focus on those new fandoms. The other thing is, and even through the last 15 months, we're really excited as a company that we've been able to build and grow, regardless of some of the challenges that we've faced. We've just launched a collaboration agreement with a show in Denver. We're launching Fan Expo San Francisco in the fall of next year.
That's exclusive, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive.
Yeah. So
San Francisco, get ready.
we're excited about that. And what that does, to your point about Megacon, it just means that we have more negotiating power in the market to bring the biggest and the best to our fans in all markets. So we continue to see that opportunity with Megacon, but it remains the largest show that we produce in the US.
Wow. So that's a big responsibility. I mean, I could tell you as a longtime resident of Florida, just the state of Florida here, even I stay in here in the Tampa Bay area, but I mean, from Tampa Bay all the way to Daytona and probably up and down, everyone knows about Megacon even before the acquisition in 2015. That responsibility, is that important to the company to make it the event of the for the state?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we inherited, and we always want to take it to new heights. So we take that responsibility very seriously. We're working around the clock to get the biggest and the best celebrities, of course. But not only that, we're looking at our programming. We're looking at community engagement. I mean, a lot of people have said, what am I most excited about for this event? For me, it's just seeing everyone come back together to celebrate fandom together. We've all missed that terribly.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. How disappointing was it to not be able to do anything 2020?
Well, it was obviously a huge challenge because we live and breathe that live experience.
Right.
And that's what we produce for the fans. But there's always a silver lining, and that's what we lent into during the challenge as we all did our part. So it's actually been a really great year for us to look internally, to do some research and development, and really come up with some new and exciting things to deliver to the fans this year, and also future forward. I mean, I spoke about a couple of the projects that we've been working on in Denver and San Francisco. So certainly challenging because, as I say, we live and breathe and feed off that live experience like all the fans do. But we've still been working hard to make sure we can come back strong.
Now,
go ahead and ask some questions, Michaela.
Is Megacon Orlando the first con you guys are bringing back since the pandemic?
Yes, this will be the first show that we're producing. What we've done is, we've sort of moved a lot of our shows into the second half of this year. So we're working to deliver a number of events in different markets through this year. But yeah, Orlando will be the first.
Wow, kicking it off right here.
What a way to
That's
do it.
awesome, right?
Yeah.
And is there anything new that's coming this year that fans can expect to see?
Yeah, well, I think it's always fun to talk about the celebrities because they always
of course.
I'm gonna just screen share the website because that has the lineup right now is it's very impressive, and I want everyone who's watching the video version of this just to see that.
It's a good list. So I think, recently we just announced the Full House cast members.
Yes.
With Bob Saget, John Stamos, and Dave Coulier. So that is, that's really unique and definitely something new. I think the fans are going to really love getting the opportunity to connect with them. And then as well as some new celebrities, of course, it's the old favorites as well. I mean, William Shatner from Star Trek. You don't get more iconic than him. And of course, I'm not sure if you're aware, but he's actually going on a bit of a 90th birthday tour this year. So we're super excited to be celebrating that special event with him. George Takei, of course, of Star Trek fame. And then, I spoke earlier about, really leaning in on different types of fandoms. You see stars from The Office. Stephen Amell from Arrow, I think I mentioned. And so even right down to Adam Savage, Mr. Mythbuster himself. And we haven't even lent in yet on the voice actors, the comic creators. So, I'm so pleased you're showing the website because that's the best way for the fans.
Giancarlo Esposito. That's a full house right there. Mandalorian, Breaking Bad, alum. Ray Fisher, the heart and soul of the Snyder Cut of Justice League, will be there. You have aluminum from the Flash. Danielle Panabaker. You're gonna have Kevin Alejandro from Lucifer. Ami Garcia. You're gonna have DB Woodside. We could, We can keep on going on and on and on. I mean, this whole list is impressive. Michael Rooker from Guardians of the Galaxy and The Walking Dead. You can have Ron Perlman, the Hellboy himself, and from Sons of Anarchy. James Masters, Mr. Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Brainiac from Smallville. You know, we want to go even deeper. You know, I mean, it's just so much power, so much star power.
Right.
And we haven't even scratched the surface of everything that they can expect at MegaCon. Let's talk a little bit about the special events, because there's always special events happening at MegaCon.
Yeah, so we have some really great comic packages. So if you're a comic fan, I strongly suggest, I mean, we all know that these conventions had their genesis with comic creators and that passion of connecting with creators and their fantastic, story writing, artistic abilities. So there's a number of special events if you want to get up close and personal. I believe James Marsters is doing an acoustic event, which is kind of cool.
And I want to show everyone that too.
If you're a James Marsters fan, it's just another light to see the celebrity in and your favorite celebrity. Another thing that I think is definitely worth mentioning is the HoloLive production. So this, I'm not sure if you're familiar with VTubers.
Oh, I'm not.
Okay, so VTubers are sort of holograms, animated, really celebrities. They're animated celebrities that will be attending the show virtually in a Q&A. So people can actually interact with the VTubers on site. This is kind of a really unique experience. It's the first. We're doing a bit of a tour with these through our shows, and something really unique and different for people to come and check out. So
that's awesome.
They do a live Q&A session. You got the Maid Cafe up there. I don't know if you've ever been to a Maid Cafe before.
I haven't. I'm completely oblivious of what it's all about.
Yeah, it's a really cool live experience. They put on a live show, and you can have some lovely food and drink and kind of enjoy the whole experience. So, I mean, again, just in what we've covered here in the past 5 minutes, you can see that even if you think, gosh, I'm not sure if conventions are for me, I'm sure your interest has kind of been piqued, and you'll sort of think, hang on a sec, I need to get down there and check this out. There's really something for everyone.
Yeah, it's the first time for everything too.
That's right.
I've been to a couple cons myself, and at first I was like, I don't think it's for me. But like you said, there are so many panels, there are celebrities, there are people like you and I who just go and are fans that you could talk with and meet people from all over. And it brings me to the cosplayers. What do you have for the cosplayers to do? Do you have meetups? What's going on with them?
Yeah, well, I mean, cosplay is such a huge element of the event now, because that's how people also celebrate their heroes. They come and they pay homage by dressing as them, and people connect. There's nothing better than seeing two people that have chosen to come as the same character, and they kind of bump into each other in the aisle and have this just incredible interaction.
Beautiful.
You can see we have some up-and-coming cosplayers, some professional cosplayers that come. I mean, this really is an art now, and people make careers out of digging into representing these really unique and characters through really comprehensive costumes. So there'll be some people to meet and greet with. We do, of course, have the Masters of Cosplay competition, or it's a craftsmanship competition this year. So people can come and enter that and be graded and judged and potentially win the competition based on their costume. So lots to do with cosplay, but some sort of structured content, but also just people love coming in their costumes and connecting that way. I just saw you scroll past the cosplay red carpet.
Yes.
That's also a really awesome activation that happens on the show floor. You can just roll up to the red carpet, and we'll host kind of dance parties on the cosplay red carpet, and everyone just walks along in a parade in their costume.
All the cosplayers love the dance party.
Yeah, so they kind of dance down the red carpet and get highlighted, and it's a way of also tipping your hat to the people that put in the effort to come in their costumes.
it's showing that everyone there is a celebrity. You are a celebrity yourself. The amount of work that goes into those costumes deserves some recognition. And I love how you have the red carpet. And I saw that you also had like cosplay alley and artist alley, where you're recognizing people who want to showcase their own work at Megacon.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love shopping? And again, we haven't been able to hit these convention show floors where you can find that exclusive merchandise or those one-of-a-kind artistic sort of coveted items. And, you know, we have hundreds of retailers on the show floor and also hundreds of artists as well. So two kind of different sections, more of a retail section where you'll find your collectibles and pieces like that. But then, of course, Artist Alley, where we have up-and-coming artists, we have crafters. So you can really find that unique thing. You know, maybe the kids are looking for something really unique to take back to school for a bit of a show and tell or whatnot. This is really the place where you can spend hours just walking the aisles and finding some really cool merchandise to wow your friends with.
So,
I do have to ask you, sorry, I'm cutting Speedy off, but what is one of your favorite things about these cons that you guys put together?
Yeah, I mean, I always say that my fandom is producing these events for everyone.
Right.
There's nothing, it's so satisfying for me because this is what we do. We're in the war room, you know, all year round, looking at floor plans and looking at which doors people are coming through and how this is going to work and how that is going to work. So there's nothing better than seeing it all come to life. That really builds my excitement. I love bringing the community together. And I think, you know, one of the most special moments is fulfilling that dream of the fan that really wants to meet someone special. It's a very special moment. It's a very unique moment. These are life moments that we're helping people fulfill. So that's what really excites me about the conventions. That's my fandom.
That's excellent. Beautiful. That's excellent. How committed are you to the comic creators and always keeping them included in your shows?
Well, it's essential. They're just a fundamental part. I mean, as we all know, San Diego Comic-Con is kind of the grandfather of all conventions, and it all started with comics. So we're very proud of the fact that we always have a very strong creator lineup. We always will, and we're very passionate about building out and supporting that element of the event.
It's excellent. I see you have George Perez, his final Florida appearance.
Yeah, which is, again, such a thrill for us to be presenting him and for him to be joining us. And that'll be very exciting for the fans.
Yes, you're going to have Greg Capullo as well. I mean, Batman, Spawn alum, he's always great to meet in person. You're going to have the legendary or infamous, should I say, Donny Cates at the show.
Yeah.
Yes. And of course, he's behind the creative behind Venom and Thor and Crossover right now in your local comic book shops. We have Tony Daniel, who created Nocterra, which is a hot, brand new indie title on Image, and also on one of the creators on the Batman. Ryan Altali, which is one of the artists for Invincible, which is was a hot animated show on Amazon. If you didn't hear about it, you had your head in under a rock or something. Scott Snyder is also going to be there. I mean, this is another stellar lineup of just legendary artists and creators and writers. And so, is it that the layoff is this is the big kabang after the layoff? Like you came on blazing, or is Fan Expo committed always to bring these great shows together?
Well, that's our mission, to deliver the ultimate fan experience 100%. This year has not, as we all know, in all areas of our experience, been the easiest. So we're really proud of the product that we've been able to put together. As I said, I think there's truly something for everyone. I think like me, everyone's keen to just bring the community back together and experience that energy. And I'm really proud of what we've been able to put together in terms of a lineup, in terms of a sort of a broad cross-section experience for the weekend for fans this year.
I mean, I'm scrolling through this list of all the artists and writers that are going to be there, and it's just nonstop. I mean, is nonstop.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah,
I finally got
not
to the end there.
only not only is this a great opportunity to meet some of your favorite artists, but if you are an aspiring artist, whether in any field, you could pick the brains of some of these people if you get the opportunity to, and maybe even in the future be featured in Megacon if that's your dream one day,
Yeah,
which is really cool. That's what I love about
Absolutely.
Megacon Orlando. It's always the biggest in Florida. It brings you the most fans together, and all of the great panels and celebrities and all that fun. That's so cool.
So tell for someone who wants to attend MegaCon this year, what is the best way?
Well,
Get
definitely
the whole pass,
go.
right? Whole 4-day pass, right? Go all the way.
Yeah, you need that 4-day pass. You need to go to the website. You need to look at the schedule, because as we've just seen with your scrolling there is so much going on.
Yes,
so you
there's a
need to
lot.
plot out your time. We're going to be releasing an app towards the end of this week, so look out for that. So you can download your app. That'll help you kind of program your experience. We're at the Orange County Convention Center, August 12 to 15. Tickets are available, megaconorlando.com. That's the best place to get them. Of course, you can still just come down to the convention center, and we will be selling tickets at our box office on site as well.
So is there concerns for capacity this year because of...
No, we don't have any changes there. Obviously, we continue to monitor all situations. I mean, look, health and safety for MegaCon is always a baseline importance, regardless of what's going on in the climate. We've always paid close attention to safety and security. So we will be encouraging people to be mindful of each other and be mindful of the certain baseline rules that are in place from local authorities as it relates to COVID. And we continue to watch that situation so we can provide the safest experience for everyone who wants to join us.
Well, excellent. Is there anything else I'm forgetting that you want to mention to anyone listening to the show or watching this?
No, just to say I can't wait to see you.
All right.
August 12 to 15, Orange County Convention Center. Let's come together. Let's bring back Megacon Orlando and celebrate fandom to the fullest together.
Well, I'm excited. Thank you so much, Andrew Moyes, Vice President of Fan Expo HQ. Thank you so much for your time and coming to show on such short notice to talk a little bit about the show. And I'm excited. I'll be there. I plan to attend, and I will. Hopefully, I get to meet you. And,
fantastic.
And we'll have a good time over there in Megacon Orlando. That is August 12th through the 15th. Ladies and gentlemen, this year, 2021, in case you're listening to an old version of this, sometime in the future, right here in Orlando, Florida, okay? So if you're in the state of Florida, this is the event to be at. Go check out the lineup right now. MegaconOrlando.com will be the easiest for them. And,
absolutely, yeah.
All right, or you just type it in Google. Google's your friend, okay? Megacon Orlando, and the website will be right there. Thank you so much, Mr. Moyes. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you both. It's been such a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in with us here on Geek Culture Congress. Don't forget to check out the live show, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Monday on Checkpoint XP's Twitch channel. And, of course, please give us a follow, like, or comment if you like the show. Thank you so much, Mr. Moyes. Have a good one. We'll see you at the con.
Okay, thank you both.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.